Hey, what's up everybody? It's Jesse from Aesthetics. Welcome back to the channel for the third installment in the Forester detailing series where I'm taking you guys A to Z on everything detailing related. First episode was an introduction. Second episode was the first part of the cleaning bit where we got into all the basics of exterior detailing. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys some tips and tricks on how to clean your wheels and tires. Now, in the actual detailing process, this is typically what I would do first. The reason it wasn't the first video I recorded was I recorded that one in January. It's Long Island. It's pretty brutal outside in January and definitely was not conducive to pulling out the hose and everything like that. So now, I'll pop outside real quick. It's March. It's been a few weeks. It's pretty damn beautiful outside. It's warm. We're going to pull the hose out. We're going to get the wheels and tires cleaned and go over some of the basics. All right. I'm going to show you guys sort of two methods. One, I guess you could say, is just like the basics of wheel cleaning. This is something you could do, get started in a driveway. And if you want something more detailed, more comprehensive, I'll show you guys how you can be a little more in depth with it. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to grab a couple of things. We're going to get a water bucket, some tools, and some basic cleaners, and we're going to head out there. So here we go. The first thing we're going to do is grab our cleaning products. We're using two of them today. First is going to be Brake Buster by P&S, and the second one is going to be an iron remover. My iron remover is from Glassparency. Pick whichever one you prefer. And the last thing is just to get a bucket filled with a couple of my favorite detailing brushes and some clean water. Once that's filled up, we'll get started. First things first, cleaner, right? There are separate products you can use for like tire and rubber or just wheels. And if you're into that, that's cool. I use Brake Buster by P&S. All right, Brake Buster is an all-in-one wheel and tire cleaner that's great for just knocking out everything that we need to in one area. You can pick up 16-ounce bottles and just use this straight. And if you're only cleaning your car at home once in a while and it's your own vehicle, that's definitely cool. But when you're doing more volume and you're doing a business, I like to buy this in the bigger gallons, and it's dilutable. So what I do is I use this at a 4-to-1 ratio, and I put it in my pump sprayer. Here, that's the IK foam multi-sprayer. So for 4-to-1, all right, it's 4 parts water to 1 part cleaner. So I'm going to use 20 ounces. All right, I'm going to fill it up with 16 ounces of water and then add 4 ounces of product to it. So right here, I've got my bucket of clean water. And that's actually 16 ounces right on the nose. Set this to the side. Add another 4. That gives us our 20 ounces. Pop the top on this. I've actually got a little bit left in here. If you are going to use any of these handheld pump sprayers, it's tempting to just kind of like fill this thing up all the way, but you want to leave room in there for air. So don't fill it up all the way. If you'll see there's probably about a third of that space remaining, which will get displaced partially by the pump that just went inside. And then, like I said, obviously just give us a little bit room for air. So get that screwed on nice and tight. All right. And give this a pump. The way these pump sprayers work, these are the IK sprayers. This is the foam version of it. They also have a regular pump sprayer. Is pump it up until you feel a lot of resistance or until this thing pops. So with the Brake Buster in the sprayer all pumped up, next thing is this bucket of clean water here. This is also personal preference. You can just leave your tools in a clean bucket. I like to add just a couple of ounces of car shampoo. So I have some suds and a little bit extra lubrication in there. So basically just add a couple ounces to this bucket and you're good to go. All right, grab your gun and we're gonna foam this up. So generally speaking, the way wheel cleaners are going to work is you're going to spray them on the surface, give them some time to dwell, all right? Not too much time if you're in direct sunlight or a hot day, because you don't want it to dry on the surface. And after that bit of dwell time, we'll get in there and clean it. So we're gonna spray this on the wheel first. And we'll give that some time to dwell. All right, like I said, it's an all-in-one wheel and tire cleaner, so I get the whole face of the wheel covered in it, I get the tire in it, and I like to get in between the spokes and behind the barrel because we're gonna get in there as well. You can spray it in these fender liners here. This is like a weird sort of gritty, it's kind of like a sprayed-on coating. If you have carpet or fabric, you're not gonna spray anything in there. But if you do have those like plastic fender liners, it's not a bad idea to spray it in there. Or if you have like a degreaser, all right, you can spray that in there. So what this cleaner is doing is, as it's starting to fall away, it's foaming, so it's clinging there, and it's starting to eat at like the grease and the oil that's on the tire, and is gonna make it a little bit easier for us to clean up. Same thing on the side walls there. Now, I'll show you sort of first like the basic way to do this where you don't need as many tools, and then we'll jump over to the front wheel and I'll show you a little bit more of an in-depth cleaning that you can do there. But generally what I like to wait for is once the cleaner is on there, when most of it has fallen to the bottom, I'd say it's time to get in there and start cleaning. So one of the most basic things you can do is get yourself a wheel brush. All right, this one is from Adams. It's just got a handle and some soft bristles, and you can start by cleaning the face of the wheels, top down. Get that center hub there, get your lug nuts, center cap, and all of these areas here, all right? You can also get the tire. And I would say that's the basic of wheel cleaning there. Now, something I like to add is this barrel brush. This is the Synergy Worx wheel cleaning brush, which is great for getting into these spaces and getting the barrel, getting around the brakes, and making sure all the inside parts of the wheel are cleaned as well. All right, and the motion with this is kind of one, hugging the back of the spoke or the face of the wheel, getting into the barrel itself, and then hugging around that next part of the wheel there. And then just repeating this all the way around. All right, once that's good to go, grab the gun, give it a rinse. As I move some of this stuff to the front wheel, I had mentioned that I filmed the car cleaning video, right? Like the paint glass, that stuff first. But in the actual process, the wheels and tires are what you would want to do first. And the reason for that obviously was just because it was winter and it was really cold. And I didn't have like the hose and everything I needed to do the wheels and tires outside. But the reason that you would do the wheels and tires first typically is they're the dirtiest part of the car. And so you don't want to clean your car first, get it all nice, shiny, and then clean the wheels and then spray like dirt and debris and get it on your paint. So you want to work with the dirtiest sections first, get these wheels and tires done, and then move on to your paint and glass. So we're doing things a little bit out of order. Hopefully it doesn't confuse you guys too much and you can handle that. But here I'm going to show you guys a second, more detailed way to clean the wheels. So let me set this down and grab a couple other things. So what I've got in this bottle was the Glass Parent C iron remover, okay? Iron removers are generally known as those chemicals that you spray and they turn purple. Some people see them in wheel cleaners, right? Ammo's Brute has an iron decon incorporated into it. The Adams wheel cleaner, Synergy Worx wheel cleaner are all wheel cleaners that when you spray them, they'll turn purple on the wheel. This is a dedicated iron remover. Some people just use those to clean their wheels. However, there's a lot more than just metal, right? Yes, there is metal from the road and driving over train tracks and obviously brake dust. But if I just sprayed this on here and then walked away, that cleaner didn't do anything to really target the oil and the grease and all the other contaminants that are getting stuck to the wheel. But it's good to use this if you haven't cleaned your wheels in a really long time, right? If you're not like a once a month person, maybe you're a once or twice a year person, good to use that. If you're prepping the wheels for a ceramic coating, definitely something you would want to do. If you're doing any type of wheels off detail where the car is up, you've taken the wheels off the car, you're getting into the backside of it, also good to use this stuff because you are going to strip everything, all right? But I'll show you guys how this stuff works. We're going to spray it onto the surface, all right? Definitely want to do this outside or with a mask or both because it is the nastiest smelling of all the detailing products, right? Like detailing products are usually well scented, right? Fruity things and light stuff like that, but iron removers, absolutely not. And that's because of the active ingredients in there. So you can already see, I mean, basically immediately this is finding metal deposits all over the wheel and is starting to break them down. And this purple sort of like runny thing here is basically oxidation. So it's speeding up the oxidation of whatever foreign particles are on the wheel and starting to break them down so that they're easy to remove, all right? Same thing, spray it on there, give it some time to sit, dwell, wait for this stuff to fall and carry away from the surface. And then in addition to this, we'll do our normal wheel cleaning process, but I'll show you how you can do it with a couple of more brushes. So we'll give this some time and check in a second. All right, so most of this has stopped running, all right, which is a good indication that I can get in there and start my regular cleaning process. So I'm gonna grab my brake buster, all right, add a little bit more pressure to this. And the two things I really love most about Brake Buster, because I've been detailing cars professionally for 5 or 6 years now, is I like the foaming action of it. All right, I like foaming cleaners because they cling to the surface and they stay there for longer. And the other thing I like is that it's dilutable. Some people use Brake Buster at a dilution ratio as high as 10-to-1, which means you could really stretch that gallon of product out, and it's good for your bottom line while still providing amazing results. It really just comes down to how dirty the cars are that you're working on and how frequently they're being cleaned. Obviously, like if you see a car that you clean every single month, you can do that at 10-to-1. I mean, some people just fill their bucket up with soap and kind of clean it with that. And if the car's not a daily driver, like that works too. So you just got to know your environment. All right, but you can see here, it's pulling away some of the remaining iron remover that was on there. All that looks good. You can see the browning in the foam as well around the tire, all right, which means it's really starting to break down the dirt that's there and loosen it up. And so just from the jump with like the chemical approach, we've already gone a little bit more in depth, targeting metal and the typical contaminants separately. Now I'll show you a more targeted approach when it comes to the brushes. All right, if you have plastic fender liners like we do in the front here, right? This is a brush from Car Supply's warehouse. It's got a long handle, all right, a big head with soft bristles, and makes it easy for getting into the fender all the way inside there. All right, so start by cleaning your fenders. And we have these factory mud flaps here. Get the back side of those. All right. I'm gonna give this a rinse before it goes back in the bucket. All right. Then we've got our barrel brush like we did on the last wheel. Look at everything it's pulling out there. Beautiful. All right, and rinsing the brushes like that before they go back in is just going to increase the safety with which you're cleaning. You know, we're not doing a 2-bucket wash like when you do the car, and you have a bucket that you can dunk your mid into and rinse it off. So always a good idea to rinse the brushes before they go back in there. Hit the main face of our wheels with the wheel brush there. Now on the last one, I used that pink bristled brush to hit the tires. The only problem with that is those bristles are very soft. They're meant to be delicate so you don't damage the wheels. The tires, ideally you want something with a stiffer brush. This is the Tuff Shine tire brush, which I've been using for years. It's a super simple design and does everything I need it to do. And if you go back and watch what that first wheel looked like, you'll see how different it is when you scrub all this dirt off the tires with a stiffer brush. You could hear it. It's getting into these grooves a lot better, releasing more of that dirt. Fantastic. Now, luckily, these wheels aren't super intricate, but sometimes wheels have more like, you know, V-shaped designs and deeper valleys that are harder to get into. The offset might be different, and these center caps, these lug nuts might be pushed farther in. These lug nuts are exposed, but sometimes they sit in kind of a pocket, and that's what a brush like this is great for. This is one of the Synergy Worx wheel cleaning brushes. It comes in a 5-pack with all different sizes, and this is their biggest one, all right, which is great for getting around these center caps, all right, getting your lug nuts. Like I said, if you have more of a sharper angle in here, all right, this one's really easy to clean with the big brush, no big deal. Around these valve stems, right, if you have painted brake calipers and you want to get in on those, all right, it's a good brush to have there. Get these kind of lips in here, all right, this outer lip, beautiful, all right, all that nasty stuff there, rinse that off. And give this a final rinse, starting with the fender. All right, so now that these wheels and tires are completely clean, we just need to dry them and protect them. Same thing we would do with paint or with glass or with any other part of the vehicle, all right? Now, obviously you've got a rubber tire here, you're not exactly gonna take a towel to that, so how do we dry it? Forced air is really the best option, all right? If you're just like a driveway car enthusiast, get your car cleaned, let this stuff dry naturally with the sunlight and the air and everything and come back out later. But I'm gonna speed up the process with my Master Blaster Sidekick here. This is a great little dryer, all right? I've had it for a long time. Just plug it in and gives you everything you need to dry these wheels. So we're gonna hit the tire, it's gonna be loud. We're gonna get everything in the wheels blown out. And then once the wheels and tires are completely dried, we'll come in for the last step of protection. All right, so our wheel and our tire is clean and it's dry and we can get to protecting it, all right? When it comes to protecting, I like to apply tire dressing with a sponge applicator. This is a water-based tire dressing. This is the Synergy Worx tire dressing. It's a no-sling formula. It leaves a great natural finish, all right? Just darkens the rubber but doesn't leave it glossy or greasy. And once it's on there, you can drive the car right away and you don't have to worry about slinging it on your paint. Now, these tires are a little thicker, all right, so I like to make an X with it. If I'm doing something like my WRX, or maybe it's got a thinner profile tire, one line across, all right, and basically give it a couple of dabs. Spread this evenly around the tire to start. Everyone does this differently, all right? You're not gonna mess anything up by experimenting and finding your own way. But I got the sponge applicator here. I've actually gone through so many different tire shine applicators, and this one is the first ever applicator I bought when I started detailing. Adams was selling these just like block sponge applicators, and it's survived for years. It does a great job of spreading it, and it's easy to hold. So don't worry if you get any on the rim right here, on any of the edges of the wheel, because we're going to come in with something else after this and give everything one final touch up. All right. Sometimes the product gets trapped in like these ridges of the tires. You can just go up and down and spread it evenly in there. So now that the tire is dressed, all right, we've got our dressing on here. It's spread nice and thin, all right. Depending on the wheel, sometimes you'll be able to see if you got a little bit of the product on the wheel, which is normal, just kind of happens. But we do want to touch up and detail the wheels and apply some protection there, because we're protecting the tire. The tire shine isn't just to make it look good, it also prevents the tire from drying out and extends the life of it. And some basic protection on here. I use this ceramic detail spray from Worx. This stuff is good protection. It's easy to use. It gives you the benefits of ceramic. You just don't get the durability as if you had like a ceramic coating, all right? The way I do it is one spray on the wheel, one spray on the towel. Towel's folded in fourths, and just wipe the edges of the wheel, get any product, get the faces of the wheel here and the spokes, get into all the areas that you can, in between the lug nuts, around the center cap, flip it over to your clean side, and just buff it off so there's no streaks or high spots, all right? Now, these aren't like the most beautiful wheels in the world. This is my 19-year-old daily driver, but part of the reason that this thing is still on the road is because it's well taken care of. And hopefully you guys are getting some helpful tips out of this on how you can better care for your car and make it last a little bit longer. So that's pretty much it there. All right, guys, so that's it for this episode. Wheel and tire cleaning, episode 3 of the Forester detailing series is a wrap. All right, you guys have seen how to clean the wheels using a basic all-in-one wheel and tire cleaner and just 1 or 2 brushes. And you've also seen a much more detailed approach using iron removers and targeting those iron deposits, coming in with a wheel cleaner, some more detailed brushes, softer ones for wheels on the faces, and stiffer ones for the tires and the rubber, the long-handled one for getting in the fender wells, and that small Worx detailing brush for getting around the center caps and the lug nuts. If you guys learned anything, just generally enjoyed watching the video, or if you want to see more stuff like this, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you hit the notification bell, you won't miss any of the upcoming videos. All right, that's it for now. We'll be back soon enough with the next episode of the Forester detailing series. Again, I'm Jesse from Iron Aesthetics. I'll see you guys on the next one.